Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today is International Women's Day, and I thought it was perfect to bring on my dear friend, Karen Peña, who is an expert in CBD. And I thought we could have a conversation about the wellness benefits of CBD. I feel like there's CBD products everywhere you look, and I wanted to have an expert on. So this is part of our Ask the Expert series that I do once a month here on Instagram Live. So Karen Peña is a leader in medical product design. She's an operational systems specialist and an advocate of functional medicine. Karen is a trained biochemical and quality engineer with a wealth of experience honed from working at various Fortune 500 biotech and medical device companies. In 2019, Karen co-founded a consulting firm here in the U.S. As the COO, she led a team of world-class experts across the life sciences, food, pharma, natural products, medical devices, to help global cannabis companies successfully achieve product quality, safety, and efficacy. And combining her passion for cannabis and medical product design, she founded Organic Guidance and is on a mission to help you achieve more with ease and grace. Organic Guidance first line of products are premium tea blends formulated with CBD to help people manage stress, stay focused, and live with more vitality. And who does not want that? So let's see if we can get her in here. So I'm invite her to join us, and let's learn all about CBD together. Karen!
Hi, Lynn. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I'm so happy to have you here on International Women's Day.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. What an honor. I'm so honored.
well, celebrating female entrepreneurs. And Karen and I met, gosh, it's been like 2 years, I think.
End of 2019. I know. It was a long time ago and also not that long at the same time.
I know. So we met in a mentorship program because we were both in the product space. And fun fact, we share a birthday, April 1st.
Aries twins.
Aries twins. So I wanted to have you on, one, because I know you are a scientist, you really understand CBD. There's so many products out on the market, and I really want people to be able to tap into your wisdom and your expertise, so we can learn from you. So I just saw two hands said hello. Hello,
Hi,
too.
too.
So start off, explain for people like me who really don't know a whole lot about CBD. What is CBD? Explain it to us.
Yes. So CBD is short for cannabidiol, and it's one of over 100 different cannabinoids found naturally occurring in both cannabis and hemp plants. And I know it can seem like it's this new miracle substance. We're seeing it everywhere in pet products,
Mm-hmm.
shampoos, deodorant. But I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I point out that it's been used medicinally by humans, or the plants that it comes from have been used by humans for thousands of years. So it's new in the sense that we're all just starting to become aware of it, but it's been around
Right.
for a long time.
Right. Okay. And then, so tell us, because as you say, we're seeing CBD added to everything. So, how can it be used? How can we benefit from this plant medicine?
Yes, so there are many uses for CBD, and the reason for this is because our bodies contain receptors for CBD all throughout. So we have receptors in our brain, on our skin, and even our immune system. Some of the most common uses for CBD are for helping with inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
pain management, and sleep support. I
Okay.
know a lot of us have experienced some form of chronic stress after going through a multi-year global pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, So something that comes from having chronic stress is systemic inflammation. And so
Right.
usually a little bit of stress is good for us. It can help us grow. It's kind of like when you work out, your muscles tear, they repair. But too
Mm-hmm.
much stress can be really overwhelming for our bodies. So CBD can be a really wonderful tool to help
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all of us globally who've
Right.
gone through this pandemic to start to bring our bodies back to, at least a baseline to where we were pre-pandemic.
Right. And I noticed when you wrote your bio to me, you talked about how you've gone through an autoimmune disorder. I've gone through that. Oftentimes, what is underlying all of that is stress. And
Yeah.
so, CBD can help. Could it even help with autoimmunity to kind of bring that stress down in the body?
Yes, absolutely. It is a really powerful and anti-inflammatory agent.
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed it when I use it. It works so well that I have these sort of flare-ups, where I develop this rash. And if I'm not consuming my
Mm-hmm.
daily dose of CBD, after about 3 days, all my flare-ups start to come up. I start to have joint pains, and then I know, okay, it's been too long since I last had my little bit of dose of CBD, and so the effects are really almost immediate. And of course, that varies, because we all have different biologies, but really helpful with inflammation just overall in general. And again, all throughout the body, we have receptors everywhere. In
Awesome. Yeah.
particular
And I'm
for
just
women, yeah, go ahead.
gonna, mhm. No, go ahead.
So for women, I do want to make sure to mention that we actually have many receptors too in our ovaries and all down in that area. So it's even really helpful for I know a lot of women who experience cramps down there. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
also fibromyalgia, which is also related to
Yeah.
a lot of inflammation.
Right, right. So I'm going to add in some of these questions. I love the people asking questions. Please feel free to jump in. So Tuhian is asking, how often can we use CBD?
Yeah, so it actually works best with daily use. You can really
Okay,
use it daily. It's incredibly safe, especially compared to its pharmaceutical counterparts. So yeah, daily, multiple times a day, and really at that point, you're just kind of finding what level or amount you need for any given reason that you're
right,
consuming it. So if it's to reduce stress, that'll be a
right.
certain amount. If you're wanting to just have sleep support, that's probably going to be a little bit of a higher amount. So yeah, just finding what works for
Mm-hmm.
you.
Right. So you can't, or can you take too much? I mean, there's lots of things in the world you can take too much of. So is there a threshold? Can you take too much CBD?
So I mean, with anything, right? Even just with water, but the worst side effect that you'll feel is just a little bit of drowsiness and tired if you take too much. But that's about as bad as it'll get.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and then we had someone say, I'm a nurse and I constantly get questions from patients about CBD. Is there a certain form of CBD that works better over others? Like, uh, we can talk about this, right? This was one of our questions of, I noticed CBD comes in all these different forms, from bath bombs to liquid droppers to gummies to, I'm sure you can tell us all the different forms it comes in.
Yeah, so as a reminder, we have receptors for CBD all throughout the body. So something like taking a product that you ingest will have access to more areas in your body through your bloodstream. And so it'll have
Okay.
a wide variety of effects. Something like a topical, they're usually designed to have a more localized effect in the area of application.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Two Hands said, what about dosage? Just try over the counter. So I think you did say,
Yeah, so the dosage, so what's a really good rule of thumb is to start with between 5 to 10 milligrams and kind of see how that makes you feel. And then you can start to slowly increase
mm-hmm,
from there by 5 milligrams each time. So just really finding what dosage works for you for any given need. I know too, is very busy, entrepreneur. She's managing multiple businesses, and so she probably
Mhm.
experiences different level of stress through different periods and seasons of her business. So if there's a season where she's really, struggling to fall asleep because she's thinking about a million things right before bed, a little bit of a higher dose at that point, definitely over the 10 milligram would be probably more effective. But that's something, again, you can play around with, and CBD is incredibly, incredibly safe.
Yeah. Well, and as you said, kind of deciding for different things, if it's for sleep or if it's for stress, if it's for pain. Um,
Exactly.
I think since you and I have been through autoimmunity, you really have to listen to your body, right? Your body's always giving you feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Ultimately, that's the number one thing, right? Even when you go to a doctor, they'll kind of help you, but they really need you to tell them what's going on, what you're taking
Hmm.
to better understand how to help you. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure. So, my platform focuses a lot on women over 40. So that's another big hormonal transition that women go through. So perimenopause, menopause. So is there any science for CBD for things like hot flashes or night sweats or things like that?
Yeah, so anecdotally, yes, there are many women who report using CBD to manage menopause symptoms like mood disturbances, pain, mitigating night sweats, and to a lesser
Mm-hmm.
extent, hot flashes.
Okay.
Another symptom that is related to menopause is the loss of bone mass.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it can lead to osteoporosis. And there have been a few preclinical studies showing CBD
Mm-hmm.
can support the promotion of bone growth. And this might be of particular
Wow.
interest to you, Elaine. So actually, CBD does this by increasing the production of enzymes that are involved in collagen cross-linking and stabilization.
Wow. Okay, I
Yeah,
learned something today. I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's super
Um,
exciting. I know the studies are preclinical, but I think it's a really interesting and exciting area of research.
yeah, because that's a huge problem as people age, not just for women, but for men too.
Yep. Yep,
So,
exactly. Hmm.
yeah. Our nurse here is saying she can't wait until the medical community embraces CBD more. Yes,
Yes, yes.
absolutely. Um, okay, so I know when you and I were in the program together, you were talking a lot about quality.
Mm.
How do we know if we're getting quality CBD? Like we said, there's so many brands and everybody's selling CBD. So how do we know
Yes.
quality?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's little regulatory oversight over both the manufacturing and selling of CBD products. It's one of the huge reasons I
Okay.
created organic guidance, but because of that, a lot of the onus does fall on the consumer to determine what products are of quality and what that looks like. So for me, when I'm
Right.
looking at assessing or my interest in a CBD product, I'm looking for two things
Mm-hmm.
specifically. One, does the
Okay.
product contain what it's supposed to contain? And so more
Right.
specifically, dosage, right? So does the product contain the amount of CBD that it says on the label? Just like number one, right? Does it have what it says it has? And then
Right.
number two, does it that it doesn't have anything that's not supposed to be in there? So something
Right.
like contaminants, right?
Right.
Pesticides. I know
Yeah.
I don't want any pesticides in anything I'm putting in my body. So
Nope.
that's just, yeah, something I'm looking for. And then the way people can find out if the products have this information, it's available, should be available on lab test results.
Mm-hmm.
And these are usually provided by companies. A major red flag for me is if I can't find the lab test results or they
Right.
won't provide them if I sort of, you could email companies and kind of reach out and ask them. But if
Right.
I can't find that information and they're not willing to provide it to me easily, then that's probably not a trustworthy source to buy my CBD product from. So that's
Right.
those
Are
are the
there
two main things. Yeah.
Yeah, like, in packaged foods, we see the organic label or the non-GMO label or all these different things. Is there anything in the CBD world that we should be looking for?
Yeah, so last year the USDA was finally able to, I think, just establish their general procedure for
Mm-hmm.
giving hemp and any products that are derived from the hemp plants, they're
Right.
USDA certified organic seal. So that is
Okay.
now something that you can start to look for in products. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
one so we're getting there.
Right. And yeah, I think asking companies for their sourcing, and if they don't share it, since I'm in the supplement space, there's a lot of companies that don't want to share anything. So that is a
hmm
big red flag, something to look out for.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so not all CBD is created equally, and we definitely want to be aware of that, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And even something that's specific that can also be found on these lab test results is whether or not the products contain some amount of THC. And so if you're
Mm,
someone, let's say that you either just don't want any THC at all, or you have a job that regularly drug tests you for CBD or THC, or you're applying for a job that's going to be testing you for THC, the THC metabolites
hmm.
are what comes up on drug tests. So when you're going to buy a CBD product, you want to make sure that it
Okay.
doesn't have any THC in it if that's, not something that you're looking for.
Right, right. Which leads us to our next question. What is the difference between CBD and THC? What do we need to
Yes.
know?
Yeah, so molecularly, they're almost identical and they only differ by a single molecular bond. But that one molecular bond makes a world of difference on how both THC and CBD are treated legally and their effects on your
Mhm.
body. So,
Right,
and then perhaps, I guess, the most consequential difference between the two is that CBD doesn't give you that high or euphoric feeling that's usually
right.
associated with cannabis or THC. And this can be a good thing or bad thing depending on what you're looking for.
Exactly, exactly. So I want to know more about your teas because, again, when we were in our entrepreneurship program, I know you spent a lot of time researching tea. You wanted really high quality tea. You were also concerned about the dosage and the quality of the CBD and putting them together. I know that's no small feat to do that. So tell us about Organic Guidance tea.
Yes, so all organic guidance products are formulated with what we call broad spectrum CBD. And really, all that means is that there isn't any THC in the product. There's CBD,
Okay.
and then there are a few other compounds that are also found in hemp, but there's no THC.
Okay.
Yeah, formulating and sourcing all of the products took a lot more effort than I thought. It was a multi-year effort for sure. But
I know. I remember.
yeah, oh my goodness. So I actually have some right here. So I haven't
Oh, show us.
shown, yeah,
Show us.
them anywhere else. They're not on the website yet or anything like that, but I wanted to just give you and your viewers a little bit of a sneak peek. So I'll go in order from sort of
Yeah.
how they're designed. So they were set up and formulated to help you from sunrise to sunset. So one of our
Okay.
morning blends is this Rise and Shine. And as you can probably
Ooh.
guess, it's a chai blend.
Ooh, I love chai. Oh my gosh, I
Yes,
love chai so
me
much.
too. Me too. Yeah, so I had to have that in there as one of the first ones. Yeah, and so
Okay.
this one in particular is formulated with 5 milligrams of CBD. So it'll have the caffeine in there from the black tea to give you a little bit of boost of energy. Then the CBD
Okay.
will help kind of calm you and keep you focused. So it
Okay.
won't make you kind of drowsy or tired, anything like that. The
Okay.
next one we have is this fruits and veggies blend.
Ooh.
And this one is also formulated with the low dose of CBD, so it can be sort of like, if you want something to just give you a little bit of hydration. It has a lot of citrus fruits in it, so kind of help you feel awake and refreshed. So that's a little
Yeah.
bit about that one.
All
And
right.
then the next one, and this is came about from more for the fellas. I know guys usually just kind of take whatever their ladies suggest to them. So
Yeah.
this is for to support with digestion. So I thought I heard some feedback from people and doing surveys and whatnot that digestion support, and especially through tea, was something
Yes.
that people were looking for. So. And so this blend, because it's probably something that you take maybe after dinner, if you have like a
Mm-hmm.
heavy dinner. It has a little bit of a higher dose, so it's just 10 milligrams of CBD. And so
Right.
it'll start to like give you a little bit more of a calming effect, but again, won't be too um, make you too sleepy or anything like that.
Right. Right. Our nurse friend here, she's saying my
Yeah.
husband needs that digestion support.
Awesome.
Perfect.
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 And then the last blend is a chamomile blend, and this one's specifically
Ooh.
for sleep support and just helping your body restore after a night's
Yeah.
rest. And this one, the sleep support, will be the highest dose of CBD, and so it'll
Uh-huh.
contain 20 milligrams of CBD. And
Oh, okay.
all of them are such a low dose that if you end up needing more, or
Mm-hmm.
even if let's say something like 5 milligrams, if you're a particularly sensitive person, you could
Right.
just drink half a cup and
Sure.
kind of save the rest for later when you're,
Right.
feeling like you need a little bit more. So there's some little bit of flexibility there with each of them.
I like that. And then, so if I was to drink your tea, how how long would it take before I start to feel the effects? Like, is it different
Yes.
with the tea than if I was to do like droppers or something else? How long does it take?
Yes, so that's highly dependent on the formulation. All of
Mm-hmm.
the organic guidance products are formulated with water-soluble CBD, and it's been
Okay.
shown to be able to feel the effects between 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. So after
Okay.
about half hour, you should definitely start to have felt a difference.
Huh.
Excuse me. And then if you don't, again, you can just take a little bit more, wait another
Right.
10, 15, 20 minutes and see how you're feeling. So it's pretty
Wow.
relatively quickly. Something like the oils or
Yeah.
anything like a food product takes a little bit longer to digest and absorb into your system. And so typically for those types of products,
Okay.
that effectiveness is around, probably a good rule is 30 minutes to 2 hours. The full effect, I've read some reports saying that after 4 hours, you'll really have peaked as far as how much um, uh, the dosage is really having an effect on you.
Wow. Okay, good to know. And I'm curious, it feels like CBD just sort of came on really strong in the
Yeah.
last couple of years. Like, where do you see this going? Do you think the momentum will continue? And do you think the medical community will ever get to a place of embracing this? Since you're a scientist and you're in the community, what are you hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. So it will definitely take its time to be adopted, I think in sort of more of a clinical setting, although there is one pharmaceutically FDA approved CBD product. That one's
Oh,
specifically formulated for, and I think it's even specifically for children who have a certain type of what are the it's seizures. It's a certain type of seizure that some
oh,
kids are develop. So clinically in that sense it is. I think that the more it's being just regulated legally will allow institutions to start to conduct more research. And that's how some of that preclinical research has been done on studying the effects of CBD with promoting bone growth and osteoporosis. So it's all sort of
wow.
at the beginning, but I definitely think
Right.
it will start to be adopted a lot more and more. And just to touch, yeah, you mentioning it just kind of seems like it exploded and kind of seeing where it's going to go. So the way I see it, and I think the way we talk about it, and Western medicine is just sort of set up this way, is that
Uh-huh.
CBD comes from both cannabis and hemp plants, but both of
Right.
these plants contain hundreds of different compounds within them that can be used medicinally. So
Right.
CBD is just kind of having this moment in the spotlight. And I'm sure,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've heard, I'm sure if you're just living in California, there are other compounds like CBN, CBC, CBG. So it just kind of goes down the line. And so I think what we'll start to see is more products formulated with each of these
Uh,
in kind of different amounts. Yeah.
huh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have heard all these different combinations of letters, and I'm like, oh, I have no, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So our nurse friend, is saying, in the last 3 years, I've been a nurse. I've seen an increased use of CBD, topical for orthopedic patients, stabilizing glucose in diabetics, and sleep for people with insomnia. What do you know
Yeah.
about stabilizing glucose for diabetics? That could be huge.
Yes, yeah. So again,
Oh,
all of this is mostly preclinical and anecdotal, but these
okay.
are some areas that people have been finding relief and support with. So, for example, someone who is diabetic, if you're regularly
Mhm.
testing your blood sugar, you could just sort of start to experiment on yourself, consume something,
Oh,
test your glucose level, consume a little bit of CBD,
right,
and then wait a little bit for it to enter your bloodstream, and then again test, see how the levels are changing, and then kind of find
right,
if you need a higher or lower dose to maybe find that, stabilization. Definitely.
right. Wow. And so is there any regulating body of CBD? Do you fall under FDA at all? Or are you considered a supplement? Sort of where do you fall?
Yeah, so this is something that in general the US government has not sort of decided what stance they're taking.
Right.
Something that I know is typical of when a substance is FDA approved, that almost automatically makes it fall under the drug sort of pharmaceutical
Yeah.
category. But
Yeah.
again, although that's happened and there is a pharmaceutical grade CBD product that's been approved, um,
Right.
the FDA has not, called it and said, yes, we're going to be the body that's going to be regulating this substance. So
Right.
that's something that's sort of ongoing. And
Right.
I know regularly the FDA does sort of poll and ask for really anyone as a consumer, you can kind of send them an email or a message letting them know what your experience has been with the product because they're taking a lot of that information in to help them
Hmm.
kind of form a decision and hopefully make one that makes sense.
Oh, wow. So is it considered a supplement or is it just kind of its
Yeah,
own
I
thing?
mean, officially it hasn't been decided. Yeah,
Hmm.
some people I've heard people throw around the word, nutraceutical,
Right.
and I think
Right.
all of these have their different definitions. So
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any official stance on it. But yeah, I mean, it could easily fall under the supplements category, just as easily as the pharmaceutical,
Right. Because
really.
I'm just thinking from a labeling standpoint, like,
Hmm.
is there any label on CBD products that we would be reading or not really?
No, not any that is required in any sort of official capacity.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Wow. So you really need to do your due diligence on
Hmm.
the products that you're buying and where they're coming from and where they're being manufactured.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you're buying a CBD product and it doesn't say where the CBD is coming from, it might be coming from China, and that is a
Right.
completely different, body of regulation. It's being,
Yeah.
transported and then it comes here and there's no regulations in here about what standard that needs to meet in order to be used in a product, what type of product,
Right.
topicals, it's a little bit less risky than something that you ingest and put in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, again, the onus is on the consumer to kind of like you said, do that due diligence and find those products that they're looking for. So I think the
Right.
best bet is always checking for those lab test results. It's pretty standard now, I would say, for most CBD companies to have
Uh-huh.
those lab test results.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, if there's that little regulation, you who knows what you could be taking, right?
Yeah, yeah, and who knows how much? If you're taking a product and you're
Uh,
thinking, oh, this is the dosage that works for me for, any given relief that you're looking for, and
right.
there's no consistency in the product and you're seeing that it's not providing you the relief, or maybe it is making you drowsing when that's not what you were looking for, then,
Right.
then that's like a concern right there. It's like, okay, this isn't what I'm being sold, It's just, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So buyer beware.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Are there any other questions? I love our new nurse friend who's been asking all these questions and
Yeah.
telling us
So
what's
cool.
happening out on the ground in
Yeah, front lines.
the front lines in the medical community.
Yeah. So I
Um,
guess I do want to touch on one quick thing.
yeah,
Just with the safety of CBD, again, CBD
yeah,
is incredibly safe, especially compared to its pharmaceutical counterparts. Um,
right,
However, just like with anything that you put in your body, there are risks associated with it. I, of course,
right,
am biased. I use CBD, but, it would be, I think, just not great to not point to the fact that there are risks associated with really anything that we put in our bodies. And so
sure.
most of the time, these risks are due to, again, our individual biology and really anything else you're consuming or putting in your body. So for
Hmm.
consumers, if this is something that you're particularly concerned about, please, please, please make sure to speak to your doctor before consuming any CBD. I think that just in general is a really good rule of
Yeah,
thumb.
yeah, absolutely. Because I suppose it could have interactions with pharmaceutical drugs if
Yes.
you're, yeah,
hmm Yeah, it has been
yeah.
shown to. So yeah, that's something that you'd have to work with your doctor to sort of see, what is, how is this drug acting in my body, and does the same way that it interacts with that drug interacts with CBD, and that all of this information is available online. And if anyone's
Hmm.
interested in sort of taking a deeper dive into any of the topics we touched on today, you can check out the Organic Guidance blog or our frequently asked questions at organicguidance.com.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, Karen is a wealth of knowledge. She's a scientist. She knows what she's talking about. She's in the field and she's consulting with, big companies about this. So, um, definitely seek her out. So, Karen, how can we buy your tea? How can we connect with you? How can we stay in touch with you?
Yeah, so please don't hesitate to reach out either at Organic Guidance or I am Karen Pena on Instagram. And then again on our website, just don't be afraid to reach out, send us an email. We're happy to answer any and all of your questions. So again, all of our products are available on the website. The new ones that I gave you all a little sneak peek today aren't available yet, but they will be later this month. So keep an eye out for those. And if you
Okay.
want to be one of the first to hear about it, you can sign up for our email list and subscribe and get 15% off your first order.
Oh, I love that. Perfect. Perfect. Because that chai tea just sounds magical.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think once you try it out.
Yeah. And where do you ship? Do you ship? And are you still in Canada?
Yeah, so I am in Canada. The
Yeah.
everything's set up in the US for shipping, but we also ship to Canada. So all
Okay.
those Canadians out there, you can
Okay.
also shop further.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So if you're in the US or Canada, definitely check out Karen's tea. Check out her website, her blog for more information. Educate yourself, then you can be a better informed consumer. So, Karen, thank you so much. Happy International Women's Day,
Yeah.
and to our new friend, the nurse who was asking so many great questions. Thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your wisdom on our Ask the Expert series. So, I do this series once a month. I ask all different kinds of experts to come and join me and help us on our own health and wellness journey. So thank you, Karen. And I should say, Karen and I um, will be doing a collaboration, and Michaela, one of our friends from our entrepreneurship program, is a nutritionist and a chef, and she's creating a recipe using Karen's tea and my collagen. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited, and that should be out, I think, next week. So sign up for our email, and we'll definitely be posting it here on social, so you don't want to miss that recipe. Um,
Yeah.
so,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I can't wait. I'm so excited to see what Michaela's gonna concoct for us.
I
So
know she
exciting.
puts together really, really yummy stuff. So, Yeah, definitely check back. So, once again, thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate you, and I really am just so amazed and blown away by your product and your tea, and that you're sharing all your wealth of knowledge with everyone.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
I know, so good to see you.
You
So,
too.
thanks everyone for joining. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.